Good evening, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Now we will come to today's news. And after the NYC frogged over there and the Attorney General's office of the Southern District of New York decided to go ahead and perp walk Steve Bannon in front of the cameras even though they didn't need to do that. But the AG there required that they made sure that he was in handcuffs and perp walked him in front of the camera that immediate because they wanted that shot. They wanted that shot because it's a test dry run for what they're planning on doing to President Trump. That's right. They are actively working grand juries in D.C., the federal government, to ensure that they can also prep walk Donald Trump before in an election. That's what they want to do. I know. There have been reports out there that says Merrick Garland is not going to look to indict President Trump before the midterms. Yeah, they are. They're absolutely going to do that. That is their plan. This is something that we've been talking about your own channel for quite a few months, if not, over the course of the last year, talking about how Biden regime continued to his act of war against his political opponent, because he truly cannot garner the 81 trillion votes that he got, right? He knows that he isn't popular. Every poll that you see shows them in the low 30s, if not in the 20s. If you were to pull away all the fluff that media puts in there for it, probably in the teens. Nobody wants this guy as president. He understands he has to take out the person who could absolutely wipe the floor with him this time because of so many people that have been aware of what's been taking place in our election systems and things like that. They know and they're prepared now. And so what he's playing this is to go ahead and make sure he takes out Trump, and this is just a plan. Dry run. What you saw happen to Steve Bannon is what's going to happen to President Trump, and what they want to happen to President Trump. So let's go and dive into what we have here. It says developing federal grand jury investigating Trump's Save America PAC. They're doing whatever they can. They're trying to manufacture anything they can in order to try to indict Trump. While we come down here, federal grand jury in D.C. is investigating Trump's Save America. Why D.C.? Because that's what they know. They have all the judges. They have all the prosecutors. They have a jury they can convict Trump in D.C. because it's all Democrat communist. The grand jury does investigating the January 6th is now probing the creation and fundraising of Trump's PAC. Apparently only Trump gets investigated for his fundraising off efforts. Of course, they don't investigate people like Clinton, Obama, BLM, Antifa, anybody else, or even the bail funds that are raised by Act Blue, which is supported by Democrats' media, to release criminals to go back into communities and commit crimes, and violent ones that Democrats at Blue takes foreign donations and paid for various campaigns. Even Joe Biden's 2020 campaign was funded by foreign donors. Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign took in for money he only got a slap on the wrist. ABC News reported, though, a federal grand jury is investigating the activities leading up to January 6 on the U.S. Capitol. The push by former President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn the results of the 2020 election has expanded its probe to include seeking information about Trump's leadership PAC Save America. Sources with direct knowledge of tell ABC News. The interest in the fundraising arm came to light as part of the grand jury subpoena seeking documents, records, and testimony from potential witnesses. The sources says the subpoena sent several individuals in recent weeks are specifically seeking to understand the timeline of Save America for formation, that organization fundraising activities, and how much or how money is both received and spent by Trump-aligned PAC. Since its inception, and Save America PAC has brought in more than $135 million, including transfers from affiliate committees. According to the Disclosure Records Act. As of the end of July, the PAC reported having just under $100 million in cash on hand. This is of course a continuation of the witch hunt that we continue to see them coming after President Trump. They need that image of him being perp walked with handcuffs in front of a D.C. jail court. Whatever they need it, they want it, and they're going to seek after it. Merrick Garland is going to eventually my stance is they're going to try to do it before the election and think that's what's going to happen because they want to provoke a violent reaction in order to shut down elections so that way they can continue their witch hunt on unstopped by the changing of a congressional Congress. And then everyone listen to this, Bannon said. And, they're not going to shut me up. We say it is it we saw from the demonic speech that Biden gave in Philadelphia. Exactly. This is a dying regime that was a primal scream, and hear what they're trying to do. No matter who it is, Donald Trump and Mar-a-Lago, there were 35 FBI raids yesterday, right, hanging out. There's another grand jury coming together on January 6, that the Washington Post reported it. They just reported a couple names. There were 35 senior members of MAGA Republicans, supporters of Donald Trump, that were rolled. You know, the FBI rolled in on right when they didn't need to do it. Remember, all these people have lawyers, or their lawyers are very well known? No, the jackbooted Gestapo is gonna show up at their door and make a big display of this. So there's so much going on. And people don't even know it's so many levels on trying to pull people in, and bankruptcy tried the platform. Oh, yeah. All of it. And quite frankly, I think that's what's so powerful that you guys have in this Great Reset conference, because this is really what it's about. This is this globalist apparatus. That's right. This is the American arm of that, the Biden regime, and what they're trying to do is shut down everybody, whether it's Alex Jones, Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump. They're trying to use lawfare financial terrorism, law, you know, everything legally, and quite frankly, up to assassinations. That's why they're swatting people like crazy. So we got our work cut out for us. And if you blink, it's over. So screw them. I spit right in there. I could care less. We're coming. We're rolling, and we're bought some breaking news there straight from Steve Bannon, and according to Bannon, at least 35 FBI raids were conducted yesterday against Trump allies across the nation as part of their ongoing political persecution efforts against the MAGA movement. This is pretty stunning stuff. If true. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. If this is the case, if the FBI is going around now and officially raiding top officials involved with President Trump and the MAGA movement, you can be sure this is a continued act of desperation. And I don't think the timing is coincidental. Did you see the latest Rasmussen poll that just came out? I think it came out. It was yesterday. Now keep in mind, Rasmussen is one of the better pollsters out there, very, very accurate. 32% of Democrats support Biden being impeached. 32% of Democrats, okay. A majority of the population, 53% altogether, support impeaching bumbling Biden. Obviously Republicans overwhelmingly supported, half of independents support it. But the real shock in all this is 1 in 3 Democrats supporting it as well. I'm actually surprised the total number, that 53% in support of impeaching Biden's, and higher with that kind of Democrat support. Regardless, a clear majority of likely voters support impeaching Biden. That's exactly what the Republicans have promised to do when they win the majority in the House right now. Rich Barris is predicting a safe pickup of 25 seats in the House. That number should grow as the polls start tightening up with the typical Republican surge that we see in September and October before any election. Remember, Glenn Youngkin was down 10 points to McAuliffe around this time last year. In the Virginia gubernatorial election, of course, he went on to crush McCall up there. So we've got right now as we speak a safe 25-seat pickup. Carrie Lake looks like she's gonna go on to win, and Arizona's Governor J.D. Vance looks like he's gonna kill it. In Ohio, Herschel Walker is starting to break away. Who most likely take Georgia? We're seeing movement in Pennsylvania, right? Both Doug Mastriano and Dr. Oz are starting to surge. All good things there. And all of that means Biden is going to get impeached. Okay, the Republican House is going to impeach Biden, and to me, this is the real crown jewel here. They are going to appoint oversight committees. Okay. That's committees, plural, right, not singular, plural committees to investigate Sleepy Joe's dealings with Hunter Biden. This is the worst case scenario for the lamestream media that did everything they possibly could to bury the laptop story back into 2020 election. Eventually that thing was going to surface. It was all for naught. And think about it. Now. It's resurfacing because of right before the 2024 election. It's not just surfacing. It's now going to have the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan, and Joe Kent, digging into every single facet of illicit information garnered from that laptop and all the data different recipients of email exchanges with Hunter. They're all going to get dragged into this, as well. So all of these reigns smacks of utter desperation on Biden's part, and they all but guarantee that the Republicans are going to respond in kind again, We really have to understand what's happening here as nothing less than a crossing of the Rubicon moment in American politics. Biden. The Democrats have actually crossed the line that every single one of their political predecessors knew you never cross. Right? Democrats. Republicans have always been political adversaries, they've always had animosity, but just stopped short of indicting and raiding the homes of your political opponents. The moment you start raiding in the homes of a former president and his top officials, the moment you start indicting fellow members of Congress, you've unleashed World War III. Politically speaking, you triggered, in effect, a mutually assured destruction. You have guaranteed that the other political side is going to eventually shatter you when they come to power. That's what the Democrats and the FBI are unleashing on our political order, a guarantee, an absolute guarantee, that forces within the Republican Party will not sleep until the Democratic Party is in total and complete ruins. The Democrats have only themselves to blame in all this. And in the end, it looks like it's gonna get messy. Our politics is never going to be the same. Thanks for sticking around. Follow me daily. I will do my best to show you. There's a lot of information that shows what's going on. Remember, where we go one, we go all.